Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. We are from the House of Kayanan presenting our informational podcast, Bading Ka Ba? Where we talk about anything LGBTQ+.
The goal of our informational campaign is to educate people and raise awareness regarding the current social issue regarding the stereotyping of Filipinos in the community.
Our campaign hopes to lessen discrimination and lessen unintentional acts of microaggression towards the community. Our campaign also intends to teach how to respect the people in the community, especially with regards to their sexual orientation and gender identity. This is your podcast host, Ryuta Suwa, along with my super witty co-host,
Anna Avalon, good morning, afternoon, and evening, everyone. Welcome to our podcast. In this week's episode, we will be talking about the stereotypes and the misconceptions that surrounds the LGBT community. So stay tuned whether you're in your house, in your car, or maybe even the bathroom for this exciting episode.
Yes, that's right. So, before we begin, let's introduce our guest for this
Guest.
episode. Guest pala,
Oo.
sorry.
So we
Yes,
have
kasi
two guests for today. Very
oo,
special,
actually, yung
diba?
isa surprise guest lang. Last episode, we teased kung sino yung isang guest namin. But last minute, we invited someone else.
Very
But
special guest.
Yes. But before that, let's start with our first guest. With yung description namin sa kanya dati, she is the part of the SC as their graphics head and also the part of the Indax which she also is part of the graphics head. So, siya si Sofia Noreen Kayanan.
Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be with you. And
How are you, Noreen?
Yes, hello.
okay naman. Kumakapit pa.
Ayun, so for our next guest, ano ba? How can we describe him, Ana?
Ako, for me, regarding yung topic na pag-uusapan natin today, very fitting since magbibigay siya ng maraming insights about, yun nga, the stereotypes and the misconceptions. How about
Yes.
you?
I think also very fitting din siya kasi very involved siya with the community. Especially, he's also an artist and so far, from what I've been observing for like almost 2 years, I've known him. Yung mga arts din niya talaga, some I've seen some of his arts that also has the topic or subject of the LGBTQ. So that guest right now, our surprise guest is Kirk Canonizado.
Hi guys,
Hi,
oh my God, I feel
Kirk!
honored.
Hello!
Thank you for having me.
Ayun.
Ayun.
So yun, kaklase lang din namin yan eh.
Kala mo hindi magkakilala.
Oo nga. So yun, before
Welcome. Welcome muna, ano ba?
Welcome.
Welcome to our, ano tawag dito?
Episode 2 natin for our Bading Ka Ba podcast. Pero hindi pa natin naririnig yung more. Can you tell more about ikaw, Noreen? Can you tell us more about yourself? How yung mga things na ginagawa mo currently or position sa
Kahit
school?
short lang naman, pagpapakilala rin.
Oo.
So, hi, I'm Noreen. You can call me Noreen. My pronouns are she and her. And as of now, I'm part of the student council. I'm the graphics head and also the production team of Indac. I'm also the graphics head and also
Wow.
the secretary of our section. Yay!
Yes.
Asan yung
Also,
clap music dyan?
yes. Ay, wala eh. Hindi
Tayo
tayo
na,
nakapag-prepare.
tayo na.
Maybe in the next episode, o soundboard. Siya din
How
nga pala
about-
yung production, yung project
Oo.
manager natin.
Diba, very
Uy.
artistic talaga. Sa dami ng graphics
Oo.
na kinukuha.
Very multi-purpose yun sa iba't ibang organization, no? Siya talaga yung kumukuha ng mga graphics roles.
Real.
Lakas So, ikaw naman, Kirk.
Hello. So,
What can you tell us about yourself?
so currently sa school, I am the current president of Sining Nudla, which is the arts and design exclusive organization. So it falls under Laguna and Manila. So ayon. Then I am also a member of La Nouvelle, and I am an editorial cartoonist, and I am also a part of the layout team doon. And I am also the class treasurer. Ayun. So,
Hindi ko
Diba?
alam! Hindi ko alam na president yun ng sine.
Hindi ko ba alam?
Hindi ko
Kala
alam.
ko na ano ka lang.
Hindi ko rin alam, nagulat din ako.
Akala ko,
Uy,
ano
hindi
lang,
mo rin alam
parang-
na rin.
akala ko
Akala
involved
ko
lang si
officer
Kurt.
siya, pero hindi ko alam na gawin siya ka-high.
Oo,
Oo.
president! Di ba
Kaya
ano
medyo
yun?
meron
Sa
akong ano.
O, diba,
OMG.
bongga?
Sa buong edit yun, be.
Oo, buong ADT yun. Tapos both Laguna, Manila.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Kinakaya naman, pero
Big time yan, uy.
O, diba? Tapos
Dapat pala, magdahan-dahan tayo dito.
Tapos diba, new student lang din yan last year.
Oo.
Climbing up the ranks.
OMG.
Oh my
Ayun.
God. Parang
Surprise ako
masyado
dun.
tayo na-surprise dun, ah.
Oo.
Nawawalan ako ng breath tuloy.
Okay.
So, before moving on to our main topic, let's have a short recap about our last episode. So, ano nga ba yung last episode natin? It was more of like a
Introduction.
introduction. Like,
LGBT. Yung
Yes.
terminologies, kung saan siya nagsimula, ganon.
Yung history niya, we've talked about like yung parang origins niya with regards with it internationally and locally dito sa Pinas. And yung very ano ba, hirap maintindihang and
Terminologies,
confusing na terminologies and gender pati sexualities.
Oo,
Ayun, we had a
tapos-
thorough discussion about that.
Yeah, yung difference ng sexuality sa gender identity tapos sa
Sa gender
expression.
expression. Ang dami di ba? So yun, that's what we talked about last podcast episode. So if you haven't watched that episode, ba't ka nasa episode 2? Ayun. Sige, go. Watch that kasi we've already aired that this Monday lang din. Yes.
Yes, nung November 21. So, yeah, if you're like free na walang ginagawa, pwede namang gawing parang background lang siya. Background noise,
Mhm.
background noise. Pero it would be nice if you listen to it and actually learn something from our podcast.
Yes. It's
Okay.
educational din naman. So, yeah.
So, moving on, we'll be introducing a new topic as of this episode. And as I've said, it will be about the stereotypes and the misconceptions. So,
Conceptions.
ano bang mga stereotypes and misconceptions usually? Sa
Alam mo
LGBT?
yung mga parang ano ba, yung some misconceptions are yung parang sinasabing illness daw yung community or like yung pagiging part ng LGBT or minsan like it's just a phase lang daw. Ganun yung mga type of yung preconceptions ng mga tao na mali. That's what we're going to talk about here. So yung una is being LGBTQ+ is an illness. So what we can say about this from our research based on the World Health Organization, they stated that homosexuality isn't a disease or mental illness. In their latest version of the International Classification of Diseases, they dropped being transgender as a mental disorder. Well, may ganun pala na pinag-aralan nila na mental disorder pala yung pagiging transgender. Interesting. Ngayon ko lang din nalaman yun actually. And then, however, in 2019, when Ateneo de Manila organized a Manila Pride March, the Couples for Christ Foundation for Family and Life publicly slammed the university's effort as they stated that there are only two sexes as created by God. That is, male and female. So based nga dun sa podcast natin last episode, we had a thorough discussion about these different gender identities. So it's a spectrum nga. So it isn't just male and female.
There are a lots. Like, pag-usapan na, there are, sa gender, we have agender. Yes, tapos yung mga androgynous,
Androgynous, gender fluid.
transgender, yes. So, yun
So
nga.
napaka black and white thinking naman nung parang male and female
Oo.
lang. So earlier that year, former President Rodrigo Duterte said, open quote, pero nagumot ko ang sarili ko. Implying that he used to be gay but cured himself. The so-called
I'm sorry.
Insult for the community.
Real, tsaka nakakatawa kasi parang, hindi nga, ano yun, hindi naman siya parang ubo na pag uminom ka ng gamot. Mawawala.
Like, ano yung gamot doon?
Kaya nga, anong panggamot niya?
Ano yung reference niya? Bakit sinabing nagamot niya yung sarili niya?
Ano yung
Anong
tinanong
gamot
niya, doktor?
yun?
Sabi niya,
self-medication daw, no?
parang
Nag-self ano siya?
self-diagnosed.
Oh, ang
Parang-
galing insult nun sa community. Kasi like, ganun lang pala kadali sa kanya.
Oo. Parang ang daming mga tao nagpapakahirap kasi 'di ba sobrang confused nila na parang it takes a toll in their mental health. Tapos siya sinasabi niya, pero nagumot ko sarili ko. Ang dali sana all.
Parang nai-invalidate yung mga struggles na napagdaanan talaga ng community. To simply say na, yun nga, parang na-cure siya as if it was a simple cold. Hello.
It's more than that biological.
Yeah, and parang ini-imply niya na abnormal ka if you're gay. Which is not true, of course.
Nakaka-offensive. The so-called gay gene does not exist, but rather a dynamic interaction between genetics and environment that helps determine whether an individual same-sex partners. According to Ghana's study, a person's sexual orientation is not determined by a specific gene. Who is gay or straight cannot be determined by a person's DNA. Biology, psychology, or life events cannot define sexuality because all environmental factors affect sexual attraction in humans. The researchers stated that non-genetic factors like environment, personal history, and character are far more significant in influencing a person's sexuality, just as most personality, behavioral, and physical human traits. So yun na, ang clear definitive study that observed this case. Kasi 'di ba alam niyo yung may iba parang narinig ko from their story when they came out na parang namana niya daw sa tito, which is a little bit distant and kind of stupid.
Usually, pag nalaman nilang bading ka, ay kaya pala parang in-expect na kasi yung tito, yung tita gay din, ganun. Which is like, wow, parang inunahan mo siya na mag-out.
Parang kinonek agad doon, no?
Yeah.
Which is, ayun nga, parang nung naging problem to, dun sa friend ko kasi, which had a similar story, parang na-offend siya kasi parang, ayun nga, in a way, parang binintang niya siguro yung tito na dahil sa kanya, kaya siya naging bakla. Tapos he did his own research and stuff like that. Tapos pinakita niya talaga sa parents niya, eto, ganyan, may mga studies, in-observe nila. Hindi, walang kinalaman yung genetics, DNA, mga, natin, based dun sa sexuality. Because it's more of like, that, psychological din talaga siya. It's not...
Yeah, it's more of the influence, not the genes.
Talaga.
Like,
hindi siya yung parang,
nakakahawa or something.
Tsaka,
yung mga namamanang sakit.
Like, kahit naman influence ka, it's parang sa sarili mo yun kung malalaman mo sa sarili mo eh. Hindi yung parang halimbawa, meron kang kakilala na part ng LGBT, tapos parang may isip mo ba agad na, baka ako din. Parang, hindi naman siya sasama. Parang hindi siya, anong tawag doon? Hindi kayo parang sasali. It's something that
Yeah,
you find
you don't just
within
join.
yourself. Oo.
Hindi
Kasi
siya
parang ano siya,
organization.
sa sarili mo talaga siya, malalaman mo. Hindi yung parang, nagigets ba ako?
Yes, gets,
Oo,
go.
ganun.
Ikaw, Kirk, do you have any comments about it?
Ayun nga, following sa sinabi ni Ana, it's not something na nade-determine ng ibang tao. It's more on talagang nasa sarili mo yun eh. Hindi siya parang, ayun nga, hindi siya parang ubo, na parang pag nakuha mo, meron ka na agad, ubo. Like, it's not determined by other people. It's like parang galing siya talaga sa'yo. And that's my, outlook.
Nahiya yung corona no? Ayun. So, the next one.
Moving on naman tayo dun sa stereotype na face lang daw ang pagiging sorry for the term, pagiging bakla, face lang daw yun. Parang,
Hindi, don't be sorry about the term. We're claiming
kasi
it.
yun nga naman talaga, yung negative connotation na naka-attach
Mm.
sa word na yun. So until now, when people find out that you're like part of the LGBTQ community, they will automatically assume that you're just in a phase that will like eventually disappear. For more context about a phase, we can compare it to trends such as being Jejemon. And being in a phase means like parang we're going through a stage na magpapass then over time. Parang over to another stage. So parang parang alam niyo may era kayo na parang ayun, parang era.
Era.
Yun
Oo.
ang pinaka-word, era. Tapos in other words, parang temporary lang siya. Pero 'di ba? That's not the case for LGBTQ+. Parang we shouldn't expect people in the community to magically bumalik sa pagiging heterosexual nila. Pagiging straight.
Oo.
Ganon. Tapos, parang instead of temporary, we should look at it more na parang fluid siya, na mag-change over time. Parang, kahit mag-change siya, hindi tama yung word na temporary to describe it. Kasi, may mga tao din na, like, syempre, ang una nating isipin is straight tayo kasi yun yung nakadrill sa mindset natin eh. Bata pa lang.
It's
Oo.
what's ano ba? It's kind of what is established with
Mm-mm.
us na normal. Sa
Mm-mm.
Parang
pagiging
yun yung
dito nga
default
sa
na mo kapag
Oo.
hindi
Oo,
na alam
default
yung...
ng mindset mo.
because
Tapos,
of this heteronormative society.
yes.
Yan. Oo.
Mm-mm.
Tapos, parang, syempre, yun yung default natin. Tapos yun nga, as you grow up, marami kang makikilala, marami kang may experience. Tapos, di ba, pwede naman over time let's say, halimbawa, ako, ang una kong, is straight ako, tapos yun parang, parang, pwede nga siya mag-change over time. Like, pero may kakilala na lang ako na, yun, straight siya, tapos parang nagkagusto siya ng girls. So, parang nilabel niya yung sarili niya as bi dati. Pero, ngayon, she knows sa sarili niya na lesbian talaga siya. So, yun, parang fluid siya. Hindi talaga siya na parang iisa lang, magbabago din siya through time. Tama ba ko? Gets ba yun?
Yes. Kasi you
Tama
can be
naman.
like bisexual, tapos maging pan ka, bilang lesbian. You can change
Pwede,
like that.
pwede talaga yun. I mean, hindi naman siyang ibig sabihin na kapag nilabel mo na yung sarili mo as like this, hindi ibig sabihin na hindi siya pwede magbago. Kasi nga,
Mm.
fluid siya.
Oo,
Ayun.
like sa mundo ba namang itong like where people evolve literal na animals from the smallest organism to the biggest possible kung ano mang mabubuo, like imposible pa ba sa ating humans, sa ating mga tao to also change over time? Like para bang isipin mo it's like variants, if napanood nyo na yung sa Marvel, yung Loki. Basta yun, may mga different universe. Ayun, sa
Mm-mm.
Doctor Strange, may mga ibang universes, 'di ba? May mga ibang variants ng mga tao. Kung sa atin pa lang, sa isang world natin, there's like billions of people of different personalities, ideologies, and stuff like that. Bakit pa ba tayo mawiwirdohan na parang yung iba, yung may ibang people, medyo tiwalas or different sa paniniwala mo? Like, should you expect everyone in this whole wide world Earth to be the same as you? Or
Unless
like the
morally
same?
wrong na yun ah. Iba yung
Oh,
pinag-uusapan
iba
natin.
iba naman 'yon. Oo, iba naman 'yon. Basta
Baka isipin nyo na pag pumatay ng tao, iba na yung pag-iisip, okay na yun. Iba yung pinag-uusapan
hindi.
natin dito ah.
in in the spectrum or scope lang naman ng topic natin. Iba na yung sa mga ethical considerations about dun sa mga immoral acts. Basta yun lang ang point ko. Like, bakit ka pa ba magugulat na may bakla dyan or may lesbian or whatever? Like, yun lang. So next one is LGBTQ plus act or speak a certain way. So parang kapag if they show signs of, for example, if you're kunwari presented as a male pero parang mahinhin ka gumalaw or soft, na parang i-assume ka na niyang part of the community. One of the most common stereotypes and myths about LGBTQ+ is they should act a certain way. Lesbians act masculine and gays act feminine. Once assigned sex at birth, gender expression, gender identity, and sexual orientation vary. Based nga dun sa previous episode natin. For example, one can be assigned female at birth, grow up feminine, identify as human, and only be attracted to women. In that case, she's a lesbian cisgender. Similarly, one can be assigned male at birth but identify as a woman. In cases like these, when the gender identity does not match their assigned sex, they may identify themselves as transgender. But being transgender doesn't automatically attract you to the same sex. You can be lesbian and a transgender, a bisexual and a transgender, gay and transgender, and so on. So yun, yung sa pinag-usapan nga natin sa last episode, kasi most of these stereotypes yun nga, parang they assume a certain way and parang naka-tunnel vision na lang yung pag-iisip nila with that one concept. Another one is yung parang term na tomboy. We should also address this. The term tomboy is a gender expression, not a sexual orientation. Common to sa atin na parang kapag
Basta yung
may
parang medyo, yung sama talaga. Yung pagiging boyish talaga yung pagkikilos mo. Like you prefer na mahilig ka magpantalon or yung in all things associated with femininity.
kanin,
Hindi ko ma-pronounce. All things associated with being a girl. It's like, di ba, ang ina-associate nila sa pagiging babae, dapat mahilig ka sa skirt, sa pink, dapat mahilig ka sa dolls. Kapag, if you, hindi mo nagustuhan yung mga types na yun, and parang, tatawagin ka na agad tomboy kapag
O,
ganun.
Yeah,
ililabel ka
tas
na
we
agad na
always assume
tomboy.
na yung Tagalog ng lesbian is tomboy. Hindi naman.
Diba? Yun yung mali nga. Kasi, iba ang lesbian sa tomboy. Kasi, ang pagiging tomboy, expression nga siya. Yung how you wanna
Present
Express yourself.
yourself.
present yourself.
Mm-mm.
Same na din with yung sa mga lalaki kapag like feminine ka kumilos, tatawagin ka na agad ng bakla. But like, hello, it's like 2022, we're so beyond
Tas
Oo.
that.
kapag sinabi mong bading ka, tapos like lalaki kumilos, bading ka ba talaga?
Diba?
Oo. Like, bakit ka pa surprised? Like, yung hindi makipaniwala yung tao na bading siya kasi hindi siya feminine gumalaw.
Mm-mm.
And
Diba nga
like vice,
usually, like, yung sabi nila yung malaki yung mga abs. Bading ka ba? Bakit
Mm-mm.
bakit ganyan yung itsura mo?
para bang, bawal bang maging hobby siya? Or bawal bang
Yeah.
healthy, buff lifestyle yung gusto niya? O, diba? Like, ayun lang. Gusto ko lang talaga emphasize yung sa tomboy thing. Kasi, a lot of people still use this term and automatically equate it to
Mm-mm.
being a lesbian, which we
Super
should
common siya dito.
avoid it. Ayun na rin kasi yung parang sa culture natin, yung term na ginagamit to identify a girl liking another girl.
Share ko
Ayun.
lang. Pero nung like elementary ako, kasi nga parang nasa ako, not like other girls face ako. So
Wow,
like, ang hilig
unique
ko
ka,
sa mga
girl.
mahilig ako magpantalon, ganun. Tapos parang tinawag akong tomboy dahil lang mahilig ako magpantalon. So parang, it's very, I mean, di ko naman sinasabing pero parang, ang wrong lang na dati pala, ganun yung pag-iisip na nire-relate nila yung how you wanna express yourself sa sexuality.
Tsaka may mali siya yung word na tomboy and bading.
Oo. Tapos sasabihin mo sa bata, ganun.
Oh, imagine being a child and being called tomboy, no?
Hindi mo pa naman alam at that age kung ano ba yun. Tapos,
Oo.
di ba nga may parang negative thing, connotation nga din yung word na yun. Ganun. Okay.
Yeah. Like, gusto mo lang naman manamit. Paano kung yun lang talaga
It's
yung
style,
damit
bro.
mo?
Ganun ako, I'm so cool dati, di ba? Not like other girls before. Moving on to sexuality is not a choice or is thought.
So, ikaw, Kirk, what can you say about that?
So, kasi ako may istorya ako dyan regarding that topic. Kasi dati sa old school ko, hindi pa ako openly gay noon. Pero like hinihint ko na bakla ako noon. Pero never ko explicitly sinabi kahit kanino. Pero I guess some people, parang na-pick up nila na hindi ako straight. So, may isa akong kaklase. Sinabi niya basta may sinabi siya something na babae daw ako just because na mahilig ako sa lalaki. Like, inisip ko, like, ganun ba yun? Hindi ba? Parang nagkaroon ako ng doon, parang awakening or something. Tapos, like, napaisip ako like, babae nga ba ako? Pero, like, sooner, I realized na lalaki talaga ako. And until now, I still identify myself as a cisgender male. So, ayun lang, I hate na oftentimes may mga connotations na porket mahilig yung isang lalaki or I guess yung isang bakla porket bakla na sila lalaki na I mean babae na agad sila tas yung pag mga lesbian naman porket lesbian na lalaki na agad so usually may mga ganung connotations talaga ayun that's my story.
Yeah, and also
Oo.
kapag kunwari sabing bading ka, parang they always assume na gusto mo maging transgender, ganun, gusto mo magpalit ng ng
Oo.
parts. Ganun sila pag bading ka, you also automatically want to be the other gender or sex.
Oo. And minsan magtataka sila bakit hindi ka feminine, bading ka? O kaya, bakit hindi ka masculine pero tomboy ka? I mean, hindi tomboy, lesbian ka naman. So,
Mm-mm.
talaga.
Yun nga kasi yung parang thinking nila na if you should be one or the other, you can't like be both. So nagiging issue din to in terms of relationships with regards to the LGBT community na kapag the both if an LGBT couples should have a boy or a girl in the relationship, 'di ba? Anna, could you elaborate?
Like, sa LGBT couples kasi, syempre, they also enter healthy relationships like straight people. However, they do not have yung parang heteronormative roles such as yung the man or woman in the relationship. Like, for example, isang araw, may spoon at isang fork. Tinanong niya yung chopstick. Sabi, sino yung spoon at sino yung fork sa inyong dalawa? Tapos sabi ng chopstick, walang spoon at fork kasi parehas lang chopstick. Gets ba? Parang magkaiba sila eh. Pero in a similar way, parehas pa rin silang cutlery. Di ba? The same way na parang magkaiba ang heterosexuals sa homosexuals. Pero parehas lang naman silang tao. Ganun. Okay?
Ang witty naman ng analogy na yun.
Real. Sino kaya nag-isip niyan? Sino kaya nag-isip niyan? In a predominantly Catholic and conservative country, same-sex marriage is like constantly being opposed as they argue that same-sex couples cannot bear children. Which is like, hindi naman kailangan magkaanak para maging pamilya. Diba?
Oo, like the people in this country already automatically assume na parang if there's an LGBT couple, hindi na agad sila pwedeng magkaanak. It's like because they're thinking there's only one way to have children is
It's
through the
true.
sexual
Intercourse.
reproduction. Oo,
Oo, like,
intercourse.
ang marami na kasing, like, pwede naman adoption, pwede naman yung surrogate.
Surrogate.
Oo,
Yung
ganun. Like,
magpapaano ka.
magdodonate ka ng, tama ba yun, yung
Mm-mm.
sperm or egg cells.
Oh, yung parang
Tapos,
kukuha ka ng surrogate. Ibig sabihin kasi ng surrogate, a woman who you can get para mag-bear ng child mo. Pero of course, ayun, that's a whole nother topic na medyo complicated and has a lot of considerations in place, ethical issues and stuff. Ayun, isang way yun. So you can like, in a nutshell, it's like giving your sperm to the girl so that they can reproduce. Pero so para ayun, yun na yung makukuha mong anak. Pero if you're like both, biologically female, kukuha ka na lang ng sperm donors. Ayun, we're more familiar with that term. Ayun.
so, yun. So, parang sa topic, yun nga, sa, ano na yun, sa info na yun, parang, ang pagiging, ang marriage naman, hindi naman kailangan magkaanak kayo para ma-consider kayong kasal. Kasi
Family.
in the first
Or,
place, sa family. In the first place naman kasi, ang unang basis ng family, kayong dalawang mag-asawa eh. Tsaka, there are couples naman who opt to not have children. So, parang, diba? And kung ang mga straight people, binibigyan silang right na, and like the option to get married, bakit hindi ganun para sa LGBT? Parang, dapat sila din, meron silang chance magmahal at yung din, the same
benefits.
benefits
Right.
yun. Ganun.
Kasi like, tao lang din naman sila, like a contributing factor to the society. Like they're doing their jobs din naman, they're having their own lives. gusto lang naman magkaanak, or kung hindi, choice nila, goods lang din naman. Ayun,
Tsaka
kind of
dagdag ko
stressful.
lang rin na parang yung iniisip, meron din, dyan iniisip na sa pag bakla ka daw, parang mabubuhay kang mag-isa, hindi ka daw magkakapamilya.
Oh my God. Ayan, it's one of the toxic Filipino cultures we
Mm-mm.
have. Kasi yung mindset nila is kapag yung purpose ng pagpapaanak is para may ano bang tawag doon?
Yung para buhayin ka.
Retirement plan ka.
Oo, retirement plan. Like, kapag tumanda ka, sila magpapakain sa'yo, sila mag-aalaga sa'yo, ganun. Kapag may anak ka, sila na
Oo.
bahala doon. It's just like wrong. Pwede ka
Like
namang,
kung magkakaanak ka, ba't ka magpapaanak para lang bigyan ng trabaho, ng responsibilidad na palagaan ka? Dapat, kapag mag-aanak ka, you should be like looking ahead, for seeing the future, na parang if ever this happens or that, I will be independent, I can sustain myself, I would have enough money laging para hindi ma-burden yung anak mo, no? Ganun.
so
Ikaw,
yun.
Kurt.
Kurt, what is your, thoughts about
Yeah.
this?
Yung gusto ko balikan yung sa argument ng marriage and how the Philippines is a predominantly Catholic country. And I think pagdating sa marriage kasi, I think same-sex couples or queer couples deserve the same rights as heterosexual couples. And for me, at least for me, marriage should be a matter of civil rights, not religious rights. So, like, bakit kailangan pa manghingi ng LGBT community ng validation from religion, hindi naman nila kailangan mangialam sa LGBT in the first place. So it is a matter of civil rights. So dapat dun natin siya pinaglalaban and dapat hindi na nangingialam ang religion. Kasi nga, first of all, ay nga being a predominantly Catholic country, hindi naman lahat ng tao sa Pilipinas is Katoliko, 'di ba? So like even if dominated ng
Catholicism.
Catholicism ang country, i-consider pa rin natin mga non-Catholic individuals, 'di ba? So,
Tsaka
Oo nga.
giving them rights doesn't take the rights ng heterosexuals. Like, walang mawawala sa kanila if bigyan sila ng rights.
Tsaka hindi
Kaya
naman
hindi ko
sila
Kaya nga.
maapektado,
Hindi.
di ba? Like,
Yeah, equal. Equal lang.
equality lang
Wala
naman
namang
hinihingi
Oo nga.
ng LGBT.
So, yun nga so Jibil. Baka naman. Kasi nga,
As we have mentioned last episode, yung Soji bill nga,
yes.
it covers everyone. Kasama na doon ang mga heterosexual. So, yun.
It's a matter of human rights kasi.
hindi siya
Ayun.
exclusive for queer individuals lang. Lahat tayo covered doon. It just so happens na it will give us a law that will protect the community. Pero hindi pa rin siya exclusive to the LGBTQ community only. So,
Oo nga. Covered
ayun
din naman yung mga heterosexuals dun eh.
diba? Yeah.
Hmm.
Tapos ano.
So yun, after we've talked about yung mga stereotypes and misconceptions, though yun lang yung mga na-prepare namin, there are a lot more naman talaga that we haven't covered. There are topics or issues about sa parenting pa, like kapag daw LGBTQ yung nagpalaki, magiging LGBT, magiging bakla na rin daw yung anak and stuff like that. Pero basta, madami pa tayong pwedeng pag-usapan. But I guess, siguro sa season 2 na natin yun.
Season 2.
Kung
Pero kasi
sakali.
marami kasi talagang stereotypes at misconceptions na hindi naman pwedeng pag-usapan. Kasi pag pinag-usapan natin, baka
Oo nga.
hindi na tayo matapos dito, no?
Mahaba tayo dito. Oh, iba pa tayong kailangan gawin sa school natin.
Real.
Basta yun. So far, that's what we've prepared for us to talk about. But there's more. Why, as with regards to why we invited Kirk, actually, Kirk's my friend and napag-usapan din namin slightly yung research paper niya. And I was intrigued by the topic. And para kasi ngayon ko lang siya narinig. And I feel like it should be voiced out. It should be shared to the people. Na parang there's like a different perspective to this whole situation. I don't know if other people has or know about this. Pero sa akin lang kasi na-intriga ako kaya gusto ko siyang pag-usapan. So, Kirk, this is your segment of the episode. Can we start with ano ba yung research title mo?
Okay, so my research title is Banyuhay, Looking at Coming Out in the Eyes of Queer Filipino Youth. So Banyuhay is basically the Tagalog translation for metamorphosis. So I will dive into that later on.
Oh,
And, pinaghirapan ko ng paper ko.
sorry. Could you give us a brief ano ba, overview, an abstract, if you will, of the paper?
Sige, I'm glad you asked. So, my paper, it basically talks about the clash between Western ideologies regarding queer culture and the culture of the Philippines. So, queer activists and psychologists, as well as mga general people who identify as queer sa mga online discourses, argue how the importance of coming out has decreased. So, before anything, gusto ko lang i-emphasize na I do acknowledge that coming out of the closet has become a very significant and historically important part of queer culture. And nakatulong siya sa pag-push ng queer identities into the limelight. And dahil dyan, queer identities are being recognized by the general society. And aware sila sa mga terms like lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, and many more. Pero as society progress over the years, medyo nawawalan na siya ng importance. And nasabi ko yan sa paper ko kasi the main argument of how coming out, kung bakit siya nawawalan ng importance is because coming out conforms to heteronormativity. Back then kasi, especially dati nung before pa nagkaroon ng matinding acceptance sa LGBT community. Coming out is essentially disclosing one's non-heterosexuality. And especially considering how much of a heteronormative society yung society natin dati, and even now, super heteronormative pa rin ang ating society, and I don't think mawawala siya anytime soon. Kasi ganun siya ka-heavily embedded sa society natin. And emphasize ko lang, heteronormativity is a term that emerged from queer theory, and it refers to the assumption that heterosexuality is the norm that everyone should comply to. So dahil nasa heteronormativity, nag-produce siya ng mga preconceived notions such as yung na-mention nga kanina na everybody is born heterosexual, or parang heterosexuality is the default sexuality. Kaya kung pansinin mo, for example, kung kunwari lalaki ka, minsan tatanungin ka, may girlfriend ka na ba? Kahit di ka naman interested sa mga babae, and vice versa. And ang dami ko naiisip na examples, and I could go on and on. Pero anyways, dahil dito, heterosexuality primarily became the standards of gender identity and sexual desire, and anyone who falls outside the norms of heteronormativity are often looked down upon. Pero, ayun nga, as the years went by, nung nagkaroon ng visibility ang LGBT community and mas slowly ina-accept sila into the general society, queer activists and the members itself often aim to subvert gender standards and give more visibility to more sexual identities. This is why pumasok yung argument natin na nawawalan na ng importance yung coming out. Because ayun nga, it conforms to heteronormativity. And since the goal is to subvert heteronormative standards, bakit relevant pa rin ang coming out since it again complies with heteronormativity. Pero, ito na yung pero. Yung research gaps kasi sa research ko, my research aims to put this Western ideology, this perspective, into the eyes of queer Filipino teenagers. Kasi the whole argument of coming out losing importance becomes debatable once na inad mo ang socio-cultural factors sa equation. And especially dito sa Pilipinas, na considering na we still have a long way to go in terms of progress regarding the country's LGBT community, ayun nga, Soji Bill, parang ang tagal nilang ipasa. Ayun, based on my observations, as well as some evidences from the studies I read, the Philippines is such an awkward space for queer individuals na di mo alam kung paano kalulugar. Parang it's basically a gray space for the LGBT community. Like, di mo alam kung accepted ka ba nila or tinotolerate ka lang nila. Pero to put it briefly, Western ideologies say that coming out is losing its significance. Pero kapag inad mo nga yung culture ng yung context ng culture, it becomes questionable. For some people, pwedeng importante pa rin ang coming out, pero for others, pwedeng hindi na. So that's basically the gist of my research.
Ayun. So, doon ako na-intriga kasi as far as I know, like, sa community, coming out is often talked about and like, binibigyan ng great importance na parang they plan so much with coming out na parang it's like a big turning point in their life. Like, it could literally make or break your relationship with other people. So when I saw Kirk's study, research paper, na parang hindi daw siya importante, I was like, weh, bakit naman? Kasi nga, yun.
Lang, I want to put this clearly. I'm not saying na hindi siya importante. Pero, if we theoretically, kung alisin natin yung heteronormativity sa ating mundo, sa ating society, if it never existed, coming out would be useless. Why? Kasi hindi naman na-establish ng heteronormativity na ang heterosexuality ang standard norm. So that means na other sexualities other than heterosexuality and gender identities other than cisgendered, magiging normalized siya kasi nga hindi naman ginawang standard ang heterosexuality. So, ayun nga, coming out would be useless kasi why would you need to come out kung normalized naman siya in that world na walang heteronormativity? Ayun.
Oo nga. So, yun yung parang ideal goal natin. To have this widespread acceptance of the community where ayun nga, coming out will be rendered useless na rin. Kasi may point naman si Kirk na it's just because of this heteronormative society as to why coming out is important. But if we would think about it, if everybody doesn't have this idea or rule or norm, whatever you wanna call it, the culture, society ng people, na there should be male and a female, hindi naman na tayo need mag-come out if yung norm in the first place is there's like different kinds of people, kahit different kinds of people na lang, we don't need to label them, di ba?
Yes.
Ayun din, di ba? Yung labeling pa. Labeling will also be useless kasi what if I'm just Yuta and ganito ako, di ba? Bakit it's uniquely me or same with other people. It's
Yeah.
just ayun, kind of ano ba? An ideal world
Oo, yun.
for us and for everybody else. Kayo ba na any comments about the paper, Noreen and Anna?
Ang interesting kasi hindi ko siya nakita in that perspective na, o nga no, if hindi normalize ang pagiging heterosexual, hindi naman big deal ang come out. Like, uy, nag-come out ka, it's normal. Like, okay, congrats, pero you're still, like, considered normal. Parang, syempre, kapag sa atin, sa culture natin, pag nag-come out ka, usually, kino-congratulate ka. Kasi nga, wow, you're so
Oo.
brave for doing
Oh,
that.
tsaka ano siya, di
Tas,
ba, very emotional siya for
yes,
other
lagi
people na
siyang,
parang like sobrang kabado pa sila bago pa. Kasi parang event sila, major turning point sa life nila. Kasi, yun nga, as Tita said, it's either magda-downhill siya or mag-uphill lang. Ganun. So parang
yeah.
sinabi mo na, kasi sinabi mo na,
Interesting niya.
real. Ang ganda ng research mo talaga na yun nga, naisip ko din kung, yung sabi mo, bale kung ano man sinabi ni Lorin, yun din yung naisip ko na, yun nga, kapag hindi nga default yung heterosexual na mindset sa atin, edi hindi na nga need pala magkama. Tama ba? Yung
Tsaka
pagkakaisip
parang,
mo.
Oo.
yeah,
Oo.
kunyari, homosexual ka, parang part ng identity mo yun. Tapos parang nakakasad na mahirapan ka na i-express yung sarili mo. Eh, that's you, that's your identity. So, yun.
Oo
Ang,
nga, like just because it isn't the norm or like default skin.
Skin,
Parang,
laro yan din.
no. Oo, parang default character no?
Oo.
Yeah,
Parang
actually.
ang abnormal na agad ang tingin sa'yo. Kaya, it's literally gambling your, ano ba, life, I
Oo,
guess.
kasi especially kung magkakamot ka sa family. Yun, it's a big,
Oo,
big thing. Kasi,
oo.
you know how, yun naman, alam mo naman ang gaano kalaki ang, ano ba
Epekto
siguro?
sa'yo, no?
Oo, affect ko kasi pamilya mo yun. Di ba? Kahit sabihin mong, hindi, pamilya ko lang naman yun. Sila pa rin ang major part sa life. And, syempre, lalo na sa atin, na 18 years old and like below minors. Di ba? Hindi mo alam kasi, like, di ba may mga, yung, alam niyo, yung mga banta-banta ng mga magulang na, pag ikaw, bading ka, pupupuin kita, papalayasin kita sa bahay, or
Tatakwil
tatakwil
kita,
kita.
oo.
Ayun! Di ba?
Oo.
Yun yung mga lagi natin naririnig. So, parang, minsan, hindi na nga nagka-come out yung mga ibang bata kasi takot sila, 'di ba? Pero yun nga, as Kurt have said, na kung hindi nga install.
Install? Instill.
Oo, naka-instill sa atin yung mindset na yun. Then, coming out, sorry, nalito. Ayun, basta,
Yes.
ayun. Parang, ayun, interesting talaga, sobra. Lalo na, ma-highlight yan actually mamaya sa LGBT stories na nakuha natin from our guest or ano ba, viewers. So, another question is, why do you think your research is important? Bakit ba natin, ba't mo ba pinag-aaralan to? Ba't mo binibigyan ng importansya yung paper mo, ha?
Parang nakaka-pressure naman yung pag-word mo. Pero ano ba, ayun nga, I think the importance of my research is to look at Western and New Age ideologies in the context of being in a third world country such as the Philippines. Since napaka-diverse nga ng cultures natin all around the world, I think the study will help gain insights about the perspectives of queer Filipinos, specifically teenagers, regarding the sentiment of coming out and whether importante pa ba rin siya in their own context as a queer Filipino. And as for the general public, oftentimes kasi nakikita lang nila yung parang facade ng LGBT community and they don't often see kung ano ba yung mga nangyayari within the community, di ba? So I think hopefully mabigyan rin ng research ko ang mga non-LGBT individuals ng idea regarding that topic. And syempre, as a homosexual myself na advocate for the community, I really want to do this research because it is something that is very important for me. And sana for other fellow LGBT members rin. So, ayun.
Yes, very true. For ilang generations, decades na tayo are like yung mga people sa community yung nag-a-adjust para sa society.
Yes.
We've been through excruciating processes and life events na parang bakit tayo yung lagi nag-a-adjust? Why not yung community na or yung society na mismo yung mag-adjust para sa atin, di ba?
Yeah.
As idealistic as it may seem, yung idea kasi ng ayun, as idealistic as it may seem, it's what we need.
Mm-mm.
Alam niyo kasi yung difference ng being idealistic and realistic.
Yeah.
For such a long time, we've been realistic. Kapag kasi being realistic, tayo yung for example, in this situation, yung mga LGBT people yung nag-a-adjust for the society. That's them being realistic.
Mm-mm.
But they've been realistic for so long that they want to make or to have these changes.
Mm-mm.
So that's where they start to think idealistically. Now, why not yung other people or yung society na lang mismo yung mag-adjust?
Yeah. And I think
It's
naman siya. I think yung sinasabi mo, yes, it sounds idealistic. Pero if you take another perspective, parang realistic naman siya. It will just take a matter of time. Like, ayun nga, since napaka-heavily embedded ng mga heteronormative standards sa ating mundo, it will take a very long time for us to eradicate those
It
kinds
would
of
take
standards.
decades ulit.
Oo, decades
Mm-mm.
talaga.
Generations.
Oo, baka patay
Kaya
na
we
tayo.
should start sa atin.
Mm-mm.
Tsaka diba,
Oo.
ano pa nga, tinan mo, ngayon pa lang tayo naging super vocal about
Yes.
sa community na to. Like, di ba nga,
Oo.
nakwento namin sa previous episode, dun sa history na marami ng part ng LGBT community, like way before tayo pa. Pero hindi sila open sa pagiging part ng community kasi nga kapag open sila discriminate
O-oppress.
sila.
Oo.
Oo, ma-oppress sila. Tsaka hindi lang kasi tayo ang na-experience, like hindi lang kasi verbal ang pwedeng mangyari. Maraming pwedeng mangyari, like pwede
Madaming
kang
physically assault din.
yeah, like
Just because of their
recently,
sexuality.
like recently ata, like parang ngayon lang, merong 2 gay men na nabaril outside sa isang bar sa Slovakia. Ba? Tama ba?
Mm,
Tapos yun, so parang
Slovakia.
hanggang ngayon, na-experience pa rin natin yun. Pero what more pa kaya yung mga tao
back then.
Back then.
pa. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
So, ayun.
So yeah, I think the research talaga is very beautiful. Now we should take into consideration for ourselves, no? Ayun, any other things you might wanna add, additional information or things you wanna share about your study, Kirk?
Quickly lang kasi very proud ako sa artistic output ko dito
Oo
sa
nga pala, ano yung artistic output mo? ADT students
okay.
tayo. Dapat may output tayo dito. Ano yung
Sa
sa'yo?
ADT kasi, yung research namin, need siyang may, aside sa paper,
Yeah,
need na may artwork or artistic output na kasama pa. So, bale, may paper pa kami, tapos pwede pa kaming
may art
gumawa ng,
output pa.
may output pa.
Oo.
So, pwede short
Di,
film or painting,
ah,
storybook, ganun.
di ba
So,
sa inyo, Ana, is
kami
storybook?
storybook kami.
Children's
So,
storybook.
yes. So, ano
Hmm.
yung sa'yo?
Okay. Okay, so my artistic output for this research will be a series of distorted drag looks pertaining to the concept of metamorphosis. So siya, fashion design output siya na may onting mix ng photography, and it will produce four looks kasi four stages siya ng metamorphosis. So
Metamorphosis.
each look will be inspired by each stage ng metamorphosis. So ayun, and each stage rin pala will pertain to a specific experience ng mga participants. So,
Mm-mm.
ayun. Kinakabahan ako pero sana mag-push through.
Yes, ang ganda nga, very fitting nga nung
Oo, at
drag
saka ang ganda ng concept
looks.
ng metamorphosis. Like,
Ah,
feeling
Yeah.
ko, feeling ko maganda talaga siya. Knowing
Mag-i-interview
you.
ka, Kirk?
ha?
Mag-i-interview ka?
Mag-interview ako.
Oh, cool. Sinong target respondents mo?
Basta mga bading. Members of the community.
Alangan,
Like,
oo
wala ka
nga.
bang pasok mo na or sa Manila ba?
Actually, wala akong specific demographic kasi gusto ko iba't-ibang
So,
Diverse, okay.
so
oo.
like from all ages, ganun.
Yeah, not yung ages kasi mas targeted siya towards teenagers, pero yung statuses, wala akong piniling demographic kasi I want diverse results. And
Oh.
ayun nga, I want to showcase the different classes. If
Mm-mm.
ma-interview ko.
Ang
Ayun.
galing.
Good luck, sir.
Metamorphosis.
Ganda ng
Yes.
research mo. Feeling ko
Good luck
kasama
sa
sa
research
research
mo.
congress. Ooh!
Oh,
Nakaka-pressure.
manifesting.
Sana nga,
Ako,
gusto ko mag-ano.
you should
Kayo
try kasi
rin.
ang ganda talaga. Promise, hindi to halong bola. Real.
Thank you.
Ayun.
Oh my God. Kayo rin, good luck sa research niyo. Sana makapasok tayong lahat.
Ayun. So, saan na ba tayo? We're moving on to our next segment. So yun, pupunta na tayo sa last portion ng ating podcast. This segment is where we talk about the stories that we gathered from our viewers. So
Pero,
we had a
unlike last
Google
time,
form sent out last
Oo.
week, and we
di ba last time,
ayun, unlike last time kasi nag-search lang tayo
oo, nag-search kami last
online.
time. Pero ngayon, nag-gather kami ng stories from you guys na talaga. We sent out a Google form to hear more about your experiences as people na part of the LGBT community. So, Yuta, ikaw na naman magbabasa kasi ikaw ang designated storyteller natin.
Yes, storyteller. Yes. So for our first story, get into character. Hello po, I'm 17 years old, turning 18 next year. Woohoo! And earlier this year, I realized I was trans. And it was such a huge shift in my life kasi everything started making sense. Ang hirap po kasi hanggang ngayon, pinoprocess ko yung trauma na nararanasan ko because of my gender dysmorphia during my childhood years. And until now, being trans affected and still affects my life in all aspects, and di ko to in-expect. Wait, I did not sign up for this. Like, boom! One day, Lord said, you're trans, and that took a toll on me kasi my memories as a child started making sense. Like lahat ng brain cells ko nagko-connect the dots like and that liberated me and terrified me so much. And from that moment on, nag-spiral na ako about everything. But the thing that's been on my mind like 24/7 for the whole year of 2022 is transitioning. Alam ng mga trans siblings ko dyan how destructive gender dysmorphia can be, and being introduced to the idea of transitioning, aka having lessened gender dysmorphia, shook me like kasi I thought everyone was going through the same thing as me. Like kasi I was assigned the female at birth, and I thought that all girls dreaded having their boobs or wanted to look like Jack Frost or Flynn Rider or something. And that thought of transitioning means na I can be comfortable with my body. I didn't think that was possible. So transitioning was been on my mind and probably will be on my mind, since it is now one of my ultimate goals in life right now. I'm still struggling a lot mentally because of my worsening dysmorphia as my body matures into that of a woman, and I'm still learning how to navigate life now knowing I'm trans. But I know I'll be glad I waited, because I know that I will transition in the future and my identity is valid even without transitioning. Diyos ko, ang dami ko na nga pong nasulat. I honestly could talk about this forever. Keyboard smash. Pero sa mga trans sibling ko dyan, they are having, pero sa mga trans sibling ko dyan that are having a rough time, kapit lang, babes. So you are part of something so beautiful, and experience as a trans person is so valid and real and beautiful and human, even when society and the media tells you otherwise. Makakamit natin yung pangarap natin, and I know that for a fact. Thank you for providing this outlet for the fruitball community to tell their stories. Really, really appreciate it. Heart emojis.
Nakakatouch naman.
Yes, sobrang thank you sa nag-send ng letter na yun, because kaya kami nag-open din ng segment na to, because we want to like parang your voice rin, and we want to openly share your experience in case meron din isa sa mga listeners na nag-undergo through the same thing. Tapos parang mabigyan din sila
Ma-inspire
ng,
sila.
ma-inspire and bigyan ng mga insights tungkol sa mga napapag-usapan dito sa podcast natin. So, ano pong
Yeah,
masisay
kasi
nyo about that?
Wala,
Nakakatouch
say,
siya.
oo.
Ang wholesome niya. Kasi parang, alam ko na parang ang hirap talaga na ma-identify kung anong parang may problema ka, tapos hindi mo alam kung ano siya. So parang, the same time, kahit di ko siya kilala, parang nakaka-proud na, oh my gosh, alam mo na, like, you have a goal to yourself. Parang, I'm happy kasi nahanap mo na kung saan ka magiging masaya, even though it's hard. Parang, may goal ka na, may malinaw na goal ka na gusto mo mangyari. And it's very touching kasi I know a lot of people na part ng community, nahihirapan talaga to identify themselves and to know like more about themselves. So, hearing stories like this is parang, sana ma-inspire din yung iba, and sana hindi rin kayo ma-pressure na, oh my God, anong problema sa akin, ganun. Just like, normal talaga na hindi mo siya ma-figure out sa una. But then, it's really up to you. So, sana maging successful ka sa transition mo, and I hope you, the best.
Ayun, gusto kong idagdag. Gusto kong sinabi niya kanina na na valid pa rin siya kahit hindi pa nagka-transition. Tama ba? Basta, wala lang, natouch ako dun. Although, I don't identify myself as trans. Wala, nakaka-touch kasi from what I observe in the community, parang may mga non-invalidate ng mga trans, kasi hindi sila nagtra-transition. Diba? So like, I really like the sentiment na sinabi na valid pa rin ang mga kahit hindi sila nagta-transition. Ayun.
Oo, so true. Based dun sa story, parang yun na feel ko. Alam niyo yung kapag may, ano ba, may nakalimutan kang something na gagawin mo pero hindi mo matandaan. It's like that bothering feeling. Dito, in this case, parang hindi niya alam yung reason or identity niya until she figured it out somewhere. I'm not sure if it's from online or based sa mga nalalaman niya. But I think it's that discovery that kind of eased her a little bit more, no? So yun, the story really is touching and it matters, especially for our people out there who is experiencing the same thing. Okay. Continuing to our next story. Sana hindi umepal yung internet ko. Hi! I came to know this podcast from a friend and as a show of support, I'd like to share my own story. So I identify as bisexual with a preference for men. And although I've already accepted that it doesn't make me anything less of the sexuality I identify as, I have struggled. I still do with doubts regarding if I could ever have a serious relationship with someone of the same sex. Since, number one, I was raised in a really faithful Catholic household and high-key lumaki sa environment na medyo homophobic. Kaya I fear na I still have internal homophobia even though I don't agree with it. Baka unconsciously na ma-apply or like mag-show up siya sa personal life ko once I get into something serious with my partner. Number two, I really don't have any plans to come out to my family. However, once I actually do have a partner of the same sex, I would like to introduce them to my parents and cousins since I don't want them to think na I'm ashamed of them, and I guess it's a way for me to show that I am really committed to our supposed relationship. Is it valid to think like that ba? Honestly, I'm still working on these thoughts, but the only thing I'm sure of is I'm willing to try and educate myself more until I ever meet the person I love.
Wow. Sobrang relatable for me. Real. Especially sa part ng, yung internal homophobia. Kasi, ako, sometimes, kasi nga, very religious. I mean, di mo very religious. Parang close-minded lang, tsaka homophobic din yung family ko. Like, parang, kahit simpleng representation lang ng, like, halimbawa, may lesbian couple sa screen, parang openly ayaw talaga nila. So, parang, as a kid, I thought na, ayun, instead na sa akin na homophobic din ako dati, kaya sabi ko yung bata-bata pa ako, hindi ako agree sa same-sex marriage. Which is thinking ngayon, parang, wow. So, yun, parang, I gets na ko yung struggle with internal homophobia, pero sobrang, yung sinabi niya na, daw, kinakalaban niya yun, tapos parang, kahit, yung parang sinusupport na niya ngayon, sinusupport niya ngayon, yung,
Oo.
yung kinakalaban niya yung thought na yun. Tapos, parang, yun. Tsaka yung,
Oo,
yung sa, gusto niyang ipakilala yung partner niya sa family, kahit yun niya sinabi niya na, daw, homophobic yung family niya, para hindi daw isipin ng partner niya na hindi siya kinakaya. Oo, parang sa part niya, parang,
oo.
nakaka-touch kasi 'di ba parang hindi naman lahat kaya yun, pero yung sinabi niya talaga, grabe.
Kasi 'di ba magiging 2-in-1 siya. It's like coming out and introducing your partner
Meet the
to your
parents, meet the
parents.
family.
Yeah.
O, 'di ba? Like the
Tsaka super
courage.
valid, like, whatever they're experiencing, super valid. Kasi growing up nga in a Catholic country, super conservative,
Lalo na yung
like,
household, sa household.
yeah, especially, hindi mo
Mm-mm.
talaga maiwasan na hindi magka-doubt or pagkaroon ng internal homophobia. So, whatever na in-experience niya, it's totally valid. Like, I think everyone naman can relate to that na part ng community na may mga doubts talaga. Kasi nga, ngayon, ang normal is mga heterosexual. So, yung experience mo, it's super, super valid. Like, naintindihan ko saan ka nanggagaling. And, and I'm happy na you're trying to figure out things for your, own and your identity. Yeah, ikaw, Kirk.
Wala, naano rin ako dun sa natouch rin ako dun sa part na sinabi ng ay na-introduce daw niya yung partner niya. Wala lang, that's such a brave thing to do. Especially, ayun nga, considering your situation. So, ayun, props to you.
Real. Since medyo mabagal daw po ang wifi ng ating boss Luda, ako muna magbabasa for today kasi ako yung stable sa internet. Mentally, hindi natin alam.
Sorry, unstable
ayun.
ako ah.
Okay, real. Okay. First time I realized that like the girl, I ended up gaining a hater. She was the super smart type with long black hair and also openly gay. So it was like, cool, I have a chance. I did have a chance since I was her preferred gender, but I would throw that all into the drain. In desperation to make her to like me, I decided I would join the same competition she was joining. I would go through the academic friends route. She'd fall under my charming intelligence and would kiss under the sun after the competition. Well, that did not go as planned. The teacher put us in the same category, and although I joined to as her, I ended up placing a whole 5 places above her ranking. The thing is, she had been preparing for the competition for 2 whole months, and I barely attended 2 days of training. I waddled away in shame every time I saw her for the entire school year after that. Anyways, lesson learned. It will not be friends to lovers, nor enemies to lovers. Just plain old acquaintances to enemies, I guess. Peace out, YOLO. Chase your goal. Chase your girl, but chase... Ay, ano ba to? Hirap mag...
Ang twister naman kasi nito.
ano kasi?
Sabi kasi,
Ito, basahin ko ulit. Sorry. Peace out, YOLO. Chase your girl, but don't chase no accounts. Yun daw. Hindi ako yun, nahirapan talaga. Ang cute,
So, sabi
pero...
niya, so yung point niya is, like,
Akala niya,
chase a girl.
akala niya enemies to lovers trope sila, pero hindi daw nagkatuluyan. Ay, academic rivals. Yun, rivals to lovers. Pero hindi daw nangyari. Siyempre, ikaw pa na, realistically speaking, ang academic rivals to lovers, hindi yan mangyayari kasi karibal mo sa grades, May inis ka dyan. May kakilala ko, to be honest, na yung karibal niya, I mean, yung maliligaw niya sa kanya, hindi ko naman sabihin sino, basta yung maliligaw niya, kaagaw niya sa ranking, sa overall top 10, ganun. Tapos, sinasabi niya na, alam mo, hindi ko talaga mag-usay. Kasi parang, yun nga, sila, gusto nilang maging top 1, ganun. So, di ba?
Yeah.
So, natawa lang ako dito kasi hindi daw siya nag-attend ng 2 days training. Pero 5 ranks above siya sa baba. Pero ang cute.
Ang amazing naman ng left niya may thrill.
Oo.
Pero yung sole purpose lang naman kasi kaya siya sumali doon para siguro
Diba?
magkaroon ng bonding tayo or basta lumapit sa kanya. Pero yun nangyari. Naging mas mataas siya doon sa ranking without even a lot of effort. Which is,
Bali kaya.
Naka-curious ako kung anong competition to or what. Na parang 2
yeah,
months.
ano nangyari?
2
Gusto ko
months
makita yung perspective ng other girl.
Oo nga.
Malay mo, hindi mo lang alam. Bakit sumuko ka agad? Malay mo, di ba?
Yeah, malay mo naman gusto ka rin niya. Like,
Oh
grabe,
my God.
delulu na yan, tol. That's delulu.
above me, ganyan.
Delulu na yan.
Malay mo na-impress talaga siya, di ba?
Uy, wag mo binibigyan ng
Kung ako
thoughts
sa'yo,
to.
shoot your Hot Wheel.
Oo.
Shoot your shot in the future. Sabihin mo, oy, tanda mo
Yeah.
ba yung ako yung yung tumalo sa'yo nun.
Eh di nainis lang siya. Oh, ikaw yung
Oo.
tumalo sa
Pero
akin.
real, kung hindi mo siya nakausap after nun, baka naman.
Diba?
Tama.
Tsaka,
Oo.
sabi, hindi naman sure sa dulo, diba? Hindi naman sure. Hindi naman sinabi
Baka naman
nung,
na-impress mo siya talaga, like 5
oo.
ranks
Oo.
above her nga eh.
Sabihin mo sa kanya, natalo man kita sa competition, pero panalo ka naman sa puso ko. Oo. Okay,
Correct,
next.
gumaganon yung katawan ko.
Pasensya na.
Gumaganon yung katawan ko.
Hindi ko na. Oh,
Next
next.
story.
So
Next
yung next
story.
story.
Ako
Ikaw
ulit.
ba? Okay, sige,
Oo.
go.
My time
Ay,
naman,
wait.
Huda. I'm stealing your position. Hi, so moving on sa second to the last story. I have been bisexual for a very long time. I never told my family about it, pero as time flies by, nakakalataan na nila. Even though I tried to hide it from them. Recently, this year, last June, I was originally going to come out with my family during dinner since all of us usually gather and eat dinner at the same time. I forgot to tell them since I was doing so many things, so I came out to them by writing a letter. And I had the courage to come out because it has been my decision. I thought that they wouldn't accept my whole being and its own me, and I also thought that I would regret my decision. Pero kinabukasan, surprisingly, they were actually okay with it and told me that they support me all the way. That's nice. Na all. So nice.
Ang cute! Ang
Oo.
cute!
Yung, alam mo yung parang takot na takot siya, pero tanggap pala siya ng family. So nice.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's so
Like,
nice to like feel. And
Oo, yung feel, anong tawag doon, accepted. Lalo na sa family. Kasi parang,
congrats!
diba, congrats.
yes, that
Tsaka
feeling of
sana
acceptance
maging ano
kasi.
to,
For everyone.
sana kung may nanonood man na mga parents, you know,
Oo. If
sana
ever
if
lang,
ever
no,
your kids
we
came
reach,
out to you.
we
Like,
reach
Kasi,
some parents there.
kasi yung coming out nga for queer people, eh, malaking thing sa kanila. Kasi nga,
Oo.
yun nga, parang kanina, Iker, diba? So, parang, yun, it's a very big thing
oh,
sa kanila.
sana
Oo.
lang na yung manood nito, like, mag-isip sila na,
Yung struggles.
sila, gano'n.
Oo.
Like, whatever, anong struggles ng anak nila na, like, yung parang, before coming out, yung thoughts nila, yung
Kasi,
mental health nila before coming out.
diba?
Sana maisip din nila yun before rejecting them and saying things na masakit. So sana, yun, maisip nila yun and be like this parent na, oh, so cute na sinanggap lang siya.
Na very casual lang
Congrats to
din.
you, bestie. I'm so happy
Mm.
for you.
I'm very happy for you. Congratulations. Very happy to hear na nasa accepting environment ka. Ayun.
Like very blessed din talaga yung mga people na that have these types of families. Kasi mahirap talaga sa iba. Talagang literal na tinatakwil sa ibang situations na ganun yung nangyayari.
Kaya, dear sender, kung sino man nag-send doon, story.
We're so
Congratulations.
happy for you.
And we're so happy for you na you have a family who accepts you as you are. Okay. So, last story. Very, very short, but very relatable. So, recently realized that most of my cartoon crushes are girls or female presenting. We've been new. Tapos caps lock. Ha ha ha. Deal. Ako din. Ako
Wait,
din.
pero
Loko.
funny. Kasi, parang doon talaga nag-start sa subtle
Mm-mm.
shows and everything. Pero, baka isipin nyo na, well, hindi nakaka-affect yung cartoon crushes mo sa sexuality mo. Okay? Baka isipin nyo, ay gusto ko ng girls, baka bi ako. Baka isipin nyo ganun. Hindi siya ganun. Parang lang siya, factors na
Oo.
nag-add. Pero,
It,
like, di siya related, guys. Baka isipin nyo.
Baka yun lang yung... Kasi may mga ibang stories din na parang may certain, actor silang nakita or cartoon na yun yung nagpa-trigger ng gay awakening nila. But it doesn't necessarily mean na parang yun yung
Kasi
dahilan or
iba ang
something.
Yeah,
fictional, iba ang mga taong fictional sa taong totoo. Tsaka iba din yung mga celebrities kasi parang very far off na sila. Wala kayong real connection. I mean,
Mm-mm.
maybe, pero ibaan na sila. Parang ibang league na sila. Wow, out of your league.
Wow.
Kasi-
Out of
Yeah,
your
pero
league.
that's so funny kasi ang relatable niya.
Totoo.
I think merong, like, may ganong face talaga, like, hello, I like this character, baka I'm
Oo. Naka-curious tuloy. Baka si Kirk meron.
Na ano?
yun yung mo, awakening mo na character, cartoon character. May ganun ka ba?
Ano?
Saan ba sa cartoon character nagkaroon ng awakening? Ko, wala.
Ako
Ako
si
fictional.
Ako si
Yun na lang eh.
si Kim Possible.
Yung mga mo.
Impossible or yung
Impossible.
Gusto
Yung
ko
si
Yung
Shago.
ano?
Yun yung
Si
feeling,
Shago.
yun yung kulay green.
Si Shago. Si Shago. Siya. Real.
Relatable.
So,
Yeah.
yun. Very relatable ang last story natin for today. So, dun nag-wrap up ang pangalawang episode namin.
Episode
dito.
natin.
That's right. Yun ay ikaw talaga dapat dun.
Ay, sorry
Yun ay
Oo
ikaw.
nga. Nakalimutan ko eh. Ang bagay kasi ng internet nawala yung
Sige,
Yung
ako
ano ba?
muna ulit magko-cover sa linyahan ni Yuta. So, tawag doon? Take two. So that concludes our our second podcast
Second.
episode. But stay tuned for our episode 3, the very last episode, kasi may pasabog kami. At mag-invite pa kami ng bagong guest. Diba? Ang episode 3 namin, ano bang pag-usapan natin? Ayun, we will talking about LGBTQ plus representations in media. So, bale, that includes films, TV series, mga cartoons,
Oh.
mga ganun.
Or
Basta media.
possibly games din.
Games
Kasi
din,
minsan-
games din.
Oo.
So, ayun.
So medyo related siya sa last story natin kasi nagkaroon ng sexual awakening sa cartoons.
Cartoon
And
character.
sa next episode natin, we're actually talking about yung mga actual representations, stories that relates to the community, no?
For example, yung mga cartoon characters na canonly part ng LGBT community. Like si si Klaus Hargreaves sa
Oo,
Umbrella
sa
Academy. Yon.
Yes.
So, we will be talking about that. So, medyo enjoyable kasi baka yung mga favorite shows nyo, mga characters doon,
Ma-mention.
pag-usapan. Gano'n.
Yes.
So, yun. As for the guests for that episode, ano bang pwede natin sabihin sa kanila? Ano bang pang teaser natin katulad ng pinanorin nung episode 1?
Teaser. Naku, hindi na nagpo-process utak ko. Basta makikita nyo na lang. Ang haba na ng episode natin. Siguro pagbigyan nyo na kami. This
Basta,
time.
yung may pasabog talaga kami. So, abangan nyo talagang last episode namin. Kasi,
Oo.
it's very, sana matuloy kasi pasabog na siya. So, ayun. Formal na tayo. Once again, thank you so much for our guest today, Noreen and Kurt. Salamat ng marami. At nakatulong
Very
kayo
much.
sa pagbibigay ng mga insights about the stereotypes and misconceptions that surrounds the community, especially sa you, Kurt, yung sa research mo. Kasi, again,
Thank you so much for giving your time.
Mm-mm.
Then, yes.
And
Thank you for having me.
wish you the best sa research mo. We hope to
Good
see you
luck.
again soon. Ay, si Noreen din ba?
Hi.
Noreen! Noreen, thank you so much for coming to this episode. Guys, ito nga pala po ang project head ng campaign namin. Please say hi.
Oo. The House of
Hi.
The
Kayanan.
House of Kayanan. Siya po si Kayanan. So,
Mm-mm.
ayun,
Single
thank you
po
so
ako.
much. Thank you so much, Noreen, for coming to this
Thank you.
episode.
Yes.
So, ayun, we hope to see you again soon. This is your host, Ana Avalon.
And I'm Ryuta Suwa from the House of Kayanan, bringing you information about the LGBTQ plus community. See you all this Friday. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.